We're talking exorcisms. Now, this isn't the right piece of music. I'm going to play it in a second, Joe. Yes, I know, I've got it. Calm down. On the email, the reason I'm just playing this again, I'm playing it correctly this time, because Sylvia Vilcek has emailed me, and she says, Dan, the music, O Fortuna it's called, from the Camina Burana. It's actually music for religious, frivolous, medieval texts composed by Karl Orff. If you're bored, I hope I don't sound bored. If you're bored, check out Wikipedia with a link. Thank you. Now, the music we did want to play... And this is by Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. This is the music, the soundtrack to The Exorcist. Oh, you want to see the hairs on my arms. Was that a ghost? Was that a spook? Who's that behind me? We're talking demonic possessions. In Rome, in Milan. The Catholic Diocese in Milan have actually doubled the number of exorcists to rid people and houses of demonic possessions. Let's go now to Sandrea Mosses, who's a spiritualist, and this lady clears homes and properties and has also exorcised people too. Sandrea, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Listen, thanks for your time. Let's talk about you, Sandrea. First of all, what's a possession?
A possession is something that I've got to say to you is incredibly rare. It's something that very, very rarely occurs. It is normally people being hounded or being terrorised by spirits, disembodied entities, demons, as opposed to being actually possessed. So there's a bit of a difference there.
Right. Let's just talk about demonic possession then. Possessed by a demon.
Yes.
Go on then, what's a demon? Why are you giggling?
It's a lovely subject, isn't it?
Yeah.
A demon is a great entity that's not of this world. It comes from another world that somehow gets into our world. And they are very, very powerful. They're very powerful entities who can do an awful lot of damage.
Well, what sort of damage can they do? What sort of harm?
What can I help? They can terrorise people. They can ruin people's lives. They can drive people from their homes. Just completely take over their lives.
Can you see one?
Not at this moment in time, I can't.
What are the symptoms of, for example, demonic possession? When you say terrorise, how do they manifest themselves in order to ruin lives, is the question, I suppose.
I suppose most of the time is what they're going to do is they're going to evoke fear. Fear is food, because when we gasp in fear, we let out bolts of energy, and that is what the demons want. That is what is going to make them. And the more that we do it, the stronger and the stronger that they become.
But my point is, Sandra, how do they evoke fear? What do they do? Do plates fly across rooms? Do you get punched in the face?
Absolutely. Being hit by flying objects, knocked down, pushed over. Waking up with something that's just hovering right above your face. Just anything that's going to frighten you. Stuff flying off walls. I went to a house recently, and there was step ladders, heavy wooden, old-fashioned step ladders, were actually floating in the air.
And when you experience that, tell me how you feel.
If you're there to help the people, so you've got to try to deal with your fear and just put your fear behind them. If I was in there, possibly just as me, I'd probably be terrified, but I'm in there to help people, so I have to keep my fear under control and think I'm going to beat this.
And also, Sandra, there are other people who witnessed that floating stepladder, not just you. Because see, if you have people who support what you say, then it becomes a lot more credible, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, it does. I mean, I've actually got a video of it on my website.
Have you?
Yeah.
What's your website? Oh, let's have a look. What's your website?
It's www.
Hang on, www. Yeah.
SandreaMosses.co.uk.
Okay, and when was this floating stepladder episode?
Last year.
And how do you... Oh, is that you, is it, on the website?
That gorgeous woman, that is me.
Sporting a lovely red blazer. Where do I find the floating stepladder?
I think it's under, if you look across the top, I think that there's something that says about, does it say about ghost clearances or possession or evidence?
Yeah, ghost clearing. We've got ghost clearing.
Does it want to say about evidence or phenomena?
Oh, hang on. You can't beat a bit of evidence. Just whilst I'm looking, how do you exercise the floating stepladder, fella?
Really, it's not us who do it, it's the spirit world that does it. That sounds rather boring. I mean, one thing I do is I never go alone. I will always go with a group of people, a group of qualified mediums, always with a healer, so that you've got somebody, that can heal the people, that can help look after the people. And basically, let the spirits guides do the work. Something's gone wrong here. There's a kink. Something's got into our world that shouldn't be here. And all we do is facilitate it, and I suppose that little hand comes in and just drags them back, kicking and screaming, to the world where they belong.
Is there a religious connection here? Because we're talking about Catholic Church here, and the diocese in Milan, who are doubling the number of priests who can actually exorcise. Do they use religious text and script?
Oh, absolutely. Most of the popular religions will do that. They will use, they have a book, they have a procedure that they will follow, that's something they will act able to. But the most powerful thing that they will use is prayer. They will evoke God and they will use prayer. There's very little difference in between, I suppose, what they're doing and what we're doing, except, that they're trained, more highly trained than us, I suppose, and just trained a different way. I've
got a video here on, how do I pronounce your surname? Mosses?
Yes, Mosses.
Okay, SandreaMosses.co.uk. And it's a set of ladders, push down the stairs. Let me just click on that. Now, I'm looking at someone was holding a camera at the bottom of the stairs, and all of a sudden a ladder appears at the top of the stairs. It seems to be floating, but we can't quite see the whole ladder. I mean, to the cynic, it looks like maybe there was a hand there just holding it, hovering above at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, if you look at it, and you look at those step ladders and the weight of those step ladders and the angle in which that those step ladders are floating, it would be impossible. It would be in terms of to be able to hold it. You wouldn't be able to do it.
What happened?
You would not.
What happened? Why is the video only 10 seconds long? Why did you stop filming at that point?
I didn't actually film that one. That was the family that had been terrorised that filmed it. There was that much going on in that house. They had a team of experts, paranormal investigators, going to do something, and it just kept draining the batteries. As soon as they walked in, set the stuff up, the batteries would just be completely drained. I think they were a little bit afraid, and they withdrew.
And there's another. This is really interesting. There's another video, and it's of a soft toy being pushed off a shelf by an energy. Now, unless somebody was in a cupboard and pushing off... a very small person could have been in that cupboard behind the door and pushed a soft, cuddly toy. I mean, and also, now, Sandrea, now, come on, look me in the eye. How did they know a soft toy was going to come flying out of a cupboard at that point? Come on, Sam.
Because there was that much going on. What had happened is they'd been downstairs. I mean, this family have been terrorised. They were downstairs and could hear banging.
I've just looked, Sandra, I've just looked at it again. There's a little kid there pushing a toy out of a cupboard.
It isn't a cupboard. It's a very narrow... It isn't. It's a very narrow shelving cupboard. It's a very, very narrow shelving cupboard with a thick, solid back in it. And where it is positioned, it's positioned against a wall. That is actually against a wall in an adjoining bedroom. Now, unless they cut holes from the one room to the other, which I could see no evidence of that.
There's a bit of string. Someone's attached a bit of string to the teddy bear.
You tell you what, you should have seen that family and what they've been through.
And they're out of shot. They've just pulled in a bit of fishing wire, San.
They haven't.
Okay, and is the exorcism business booming at the moment? Are cuddly toys flying out of wardrobes all across the country?
Do you know, I'm going to say it does tend to come in. It tends to come in fits and spasms. And usually what happens is that people are usually at the end of their tether. We will put up with an awful lot before we admit there's a problem. We will do, like you just said. We'll make an excuse up for it. Or perhaps somebody banged a door and that made it drop off. Perhaps all the lights blew in the house for a reason. And perhaps that wardrobe dropping on my head in the night was some reason. I mean, we went to one house and there was a massive, massive wall unit that ran from one end to the other, and it had fell on them in the night. And when you said to them, what did you think? They said, well, we didn't really know why it had happened, to be honest. I mean, this was a massive unit. You couldn't have moved it. And it had actually dropped on them as they slept.
Son, are people targeted for one reason or another? Why would someone be attacked by a demon and another not? Is there anything personal going on?
Absolutely. It's called an Ouija board.
It's called what, sorry?
An Ouija board.
I've heard of Ouija boards, yeah.
Yeah, they're the most dangerous thing that you can. Because in a Ouija board, you actually open up the veil. You create a hole, a vortex, a portal, and you allow dark demons who shouldn't be of this world to get into our world. Now, you may not have done it. The people before who occupied the house before you may have done it. But once that doorway's opened, that demon's not going to say, I'm going home. It will wreak havoc here. And until that doorway's shut and that demon is sent back from where it's come, they just go, whoever happens to go into that house. You can tell the classical things when you're looking at a house. Is it really dark? Why does that room seem dark? Is it cold, freezing cold? Why is it so cold? On a red hot summer's day and you've got your cardigan on. Those are usually signs you've got a problem in that house. OK,
Sandrea, it's been fascinating to talk. Thank you.
I hope I've convinced you, and I hope that I've...
I'm not sure. It's the cuddly toy with a bit of fishing wire that's not convincing, Sam. It's some little scallywag out of shot. And you see, the flaw with this is that the weakest link here with that video. In fact, can I direct our audience to go to this website? It's Sandrea Moss's, and we'll let the audience make their mind up. It's
thank you.
If that's all right with you, Sandrea. It's Sandrea. I'll spell it SandreaMosses.co.uk. Once again, the surname is spelt. It's Sandrea and then MOSSES.co.uk. And at the top of the banner, there is it's paranormal phenomenon videos. And the convenient thing about all these videos, Sandra, if you don't mind me saying, is that there's always something slightly out of shot when either something falls down the stairs or a cuddly toy is pulled, in my opinion, out of a wardrobe.
It's not. If it was staged, I suppose it was set in a studio. You'd have everything in shot, but it's a case of looking and grabbing something.
How did they know a cuddly toy? Why were they focusing on that wardrobe at the exact point a cuddly toy flew out?
What had been happening upstairs in that room is that literally, I think there's some photographs there showing it, they could go downstairs, hear a sound and go back upstairs. And they would go back upstairs and the whole of their bed would be folded up, including the base and the mattress and all the bedding. In seconds, that could happen. And two pictures that somebody had given them to protect it would be like sinisterly placed on top, as if to say what they're doing to help you.
OK, thank you.
And they could go out that room. And they could go out the room and go back in a second, and the room would be trashed in about 30 seconds.
That's just like my house. That's like my house. You ask my wife, incredibly tidy bed, and within 30 seconds, it's trash. Sandrea, thank you. All the very best. It's the happiest exorcist I've ever heard. Sandrea, thank God, stop giggling. Thank you. 28 minutes to midday. What do you think? Go to the website, click on the video. Do you think there's a bit of fish wire pulling the cuddly toy? 08453 009956. And these floating step ladders, do you think the reason that it's not completely in shot is a convenient reason because someone has got a hand on one side of the step ladder? To put it into context, really, I'm doing my best, but you need to really go online, watch the videos and ring the studio.